ओम मोहांधकारतरणये नमः। ओम मोहोत्पलनभौमनये नमः। ओम भक्तज्ञानाब्धिशीतांशवे नमः। ओम भक्ताज्ञानतृणालयाय नमः। ओम भक्ताम्बोजसहस्रांशवे नमः। ओम भक्तकेकिघनाघनाय नमः। ओम भक्तकैरवराकेन्दवे नमः। ओम भक्तकोकदिवाकराय नमः। ओम गजाननादिसम्पूज्याय नमः। ओम गजचर्मोज्ज्वलाकृतये नमः। ओम गंगाधवलदिव्यांगाय नमः। ओम गंगापङ्किलसज्जटाय नमः। ओम गगनाम्बरसंवीताय नमः। ओम गगनामुक्तमूर्धजाय नमः। ओम वदनाब्जजिताब्जश्रिये नमः। ओम वदनेन्दुस्फुरद्दिशाय नमः। ओम वरदानैकनिपुणाय नमः। ज्वलत्कराय नमः। ओम वनवाससमुल्लासाय नमः। ओम वनवीरैकलोलुपाय नमः। ओम तेजभुञ्जघनाकाराय नमः। ओम तेजसामपि भासकाय नमः। ओम विनेयानां तेजःप्रदाय नमः। ओम तेजोमयनिजाश्रमाय नमः। ओम दमितानङ्गसङ्ग्रामाय नमः। ओम दरहासजिताङ्गनाय नमः। ओम दयारससुधासिन्धवे नमः। ओम दरिद्रधनसेवदये नमः। ओम क्षीरेन्दुस्फटिकाकाराय नमः। ओम क्षीरेन्दुमुकुटोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ओम क्षीरोपहाररसिकाय नमः। ओम क्षिप्रैश्वर्यफलप्रदाय नमः। ओम नानाभरणमुग्धांगाय नमः। ओम नारीसम्मोहनाकृतये नमः। ओम नादब्रह्मरसास्वादिने नमः। ओम नागभूषणभूषिताय नमः। ओम मूर्तिनिन्दितकन्दर्पाय नमः। ओम मूर्तामूर्तजगद्वपुषे नमः। ओम मूलाज्ञानतमोभानवे नमः। ओम मूर्तिमत्कल्पपादपाय नमः। ओम तरुणादित्य संकाशाय नमः। ओम तंत्रीवादन तत्पराय नमः। ओम तरुमूलैक निलयाय नमः। ओम तप्त जाम्बूनद प्रभाय नमः। ओम तत्वपुस्तोल सत्पाणये नमः। ओम तपनोडुपलोचनाय नमः। ओम यमसन्नुत सत्कीर्तये नमः। ओम यम संयुताय नमः। ओम यतिरूपधराय मौनिने नमः। ओम यतीन्द्रोपास्य विग्रहाय नमः। ओम मंदारहार रुचिराय नमः। ओम मदनायुत सुंदराय नमः। ओम मंदस्मितलसत्वक्त्राय नमः। ओम मधुराधर पल्लवाय नमः। ओम मंजीर मंजुपादाब्जाय नमः। ओम मणिपट्टोल्लसत्कटये नमः। ओम हस्तांकुरितचिन्मुद्राय नमः। ओम हठयोगपरोत्तमाय नमः। ओम हंसजप्याक्षमालाढ्याय नमः। ओम हंसे द्वाराध्यपादुकाय नमः। ओम मेरुशृंगतटोल्लासाय नमः। ओम मेघश्याम मनोहराय नमः। ओम मेधांकुरालवालाग्र्याय नमः। ओम मेधापक्वफलद्रुमाय नमः। ओम धार्मिकान्तर्गुहावासाय नमः। ओम धर्ममार्गप्रवर्तकाय नमः। ओम धामत्रयनिजारामाय नमः। ओम धर्मोत्तममनोरथाय नमः। ओम प्रबोधोद्गारदीपश्रिये नमः। ओम प्रकाशितजगत्त्रयाय नमः। ओम प्रज्ञाचन्द्रशिलाचन्द्राय नमः। ओम प्रज्ञामणिवराकराय नमः। ओम ज्ञानान्तरभासात्मने नमः। ओम ज्ञातृज्ञादिविदुर्गाय नमः। ओम ज्ञानज्ञाद्वैतदिव्यांगाय नमः। ओम ज्ञातृज्ञातिकुलागताय नमः। ओम प्रपन्नपारिजाताग्र्याय नमः। ओम प्रणतार्थ्यप्तिवाडवाय नमः। ओम भूतानां प्रमाणभूताय नमः। ओम प्रपंचहितकारकाय नमः। Om Yat Tattvamasi Samvedyaya Namaha. Om Yakshageyatma Vaibhavaya Namaha. Om Yajnadi Devata Murtaye Namaha. Om Yajamanava Purdharaya Namaha. Om Chhatradipati Vishveshaya Namaha. Om Chhatra Samara Sevitaya Namaha. Om Chanda Shastradi Nipunaya Namaha. Om Chalajatyadi Duragaya Namaha. Om Swabhavika Sukhaikatmane Namaha. Om Swanubhuti Rasodadaye Namaha. Om Swarajya Sampadadhyakshaya Namaha. Om Swatma Rama Mahamataye Namaha. Om Hartakab Jatajutaya Namaha. Om Hasodastari Mandalaya Namaha. Om Hala Halojjalaggalaya Namaha. Om Hardagranthi Vimochakaya Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Shri Dayananda Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Mahesha Nanda Sadgurave Namaha. I was just going through all of these and thinking that these 108 names pretty much cover the various aspects of Vedanta. If one really understands it, I think it will be so good to, first of all, memorize this, and then as you chant it, you see this as a review of the whole thing, the various aspects of Ishvara and the human being and so on and so forth. Very beautiful, very, very carefully written, so that it covers a broad range of things that we need to learn and to be familiar with. So it's a good review of that. Let's see, I think, I can't remember which we had done. How much time do we have? A little bit time. Maybe we can do one. Remember I think I'll be better prepared next time. I didn't review this, so I'll see which we have done and then do that next. Instead, let's do this. Let us chant all the 12 verses of the Mandukya. Okay, so the prayer first. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ऋकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let's do all the 12 verses of Mandukya since we have a couple of minutes. Om ityetadakshara idagum sarvam. Om ityetadaksharam idagum sarvam. Tasya upavyakhyanam. Bhutam bhavat bhavishyatiti. Sarvam onkara eva. Yacchanyat trikalatītam. Tadapyonkara eva. Sarvagum hi etad brahma. Ayamatma brahma. Soyamatma chatushpad. Jagritasthano bahishpragyah. Saptanga ekona vimshati mukha. Sthula bhuk vaishwanaraha. Prathama padaha. Swapnasthano antah pragyah. Saptanga ekona vimshati mukha. Pravivikta bhuk taijaso pravivikta bhuk taijasaha. Dvitiya padaha. Yatra supto na kanchana kamam kamayate. Yatra supto na kanchana kamam kamayate. Na kanchana swapnam pashyati. Tat sushuptam. Sushuptasthana eki bhutaha. Pragyana ganaha eva anandamayaha. Hyananda bhukte cheto mukha. Pragyah tritiya padaha. Esha sarveshvaraha. Esha sarvagyaha. Esha antaryami. Esha yonihi. Sarvasya prabhavapyayau hi bhutanam. Na antah pragyam na bahish pragyam. Na ubhayatah pragyam na pragyanaganam. न pragyam na pragyam adrishtam avyavaharyam agrahyam alakshanam achintyam avyapadeshyam ekatma pratyayasaram prapancha upashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vigyeyah soyamatma adhyaksharam ओंकार अधिमात्रम पादा मात्रा मात्राश्च पादा मात्रा अकार उकारो मकार इति जागृत स्थानो वैश्वानरः अकारः प्रथमा मात्रा आप्तेरादिमत्वात् आप्नोति ह वै सर्वान् कामान् आदिश्च भवति य एवं वेद स्वप्नस्थानस्तैजसः उकारः उकारो द्वितीय or it will be better to do ukaro dvitiya matra utkarshat ubhayatvat utkarshat hi havai utkarshati havai ज्ञान समततिम समानश्च भवति ज्ञान समततिम च समानश्च भवति न अस्य ब्रह्मा वित्कुले भवति य एवं वेद सुषुप्तस्थानः प्राज्ञः मकारस्तृतीया मात्रा मितेरपितेर्वा मिनोति हवा इदगुं सर्वं अपीतिश्च भवति य एवं वेद अमात्रश्चतुर्थः अव्यवहार्यः प्रपंच उपशमः शिवः अद्वैत एवं ओंकारः आत्मा एव संविशति आत्मनाम् आत्मना आत्मानं य एवं वेद You know, one thing I would like to do, sometime, perhaps even at the end of the Vaithatya Prakaranam, because we are finishing that, this verse number 6 of the Mandukya, Eshaha Sarveshwaraha, Eshaha Sarvajnaha, Eshaha Antaryami, Eshaha Yoni, Sarvasya Prabhavau Apyayauhi Bhutanam. This verse has been explained in a very good set of verses by Swami Vidyaranya in the 6th chapter of the Panchadashi. And I would like to revise that. We've already done that before, but this is a very significant verse. In all of them are very good, but this one has some very good information about how Ishvara is in you, because this kind of understanding transforms our idea of Ishvara being separate from me to the correct, which is not a correct understanding, which is a partial understanding. It is just a step in the way to understanding that Ishvara is really me. It's propelling me in terms of my thoughts, my attitudes, my life, everything. So this transformation from outside to me is a very important one. And we need to understand that, because our mind will not accept it until we understand it. And so this particular set um, of verses, of these points of the verse number 6, Sarveshwara, Sarvagya, Antaryami, etc., very nicely dealt with. So I think that one of these days we will kind of interrupt our Karika and just go back to just looking at this part in more detail. So I was thinking of that. I think that will be wonderful to do. Okay. So I'm going to make a slight change in the way we are. I think that I'll continue to focus on a conceptual reading rather than a verse-by-verse reading. And so today is a good example of that. So for example, in this Vaithatya Prakaranam, Vaithatya Prakaranam, as you know, is the Prakaranam where the primary focus is our logic, our mind's logic. How do we accept that this is just Swapnavastha? Jagrata Avastha is just another Swapnavastha. It's not a big change. How do we transform that? Because our mind doesn't accept it. We have a very clear distinction between our dream state and our waking state. Clear distinction means that we make an assumption that the dream state is not that important. It's the waking state that is important, because this is the real, this is what I have to deal with, and so on. And through this understanding of the Vedanta Shastra, it tells us that this is not the right way to look at it. Okay? It's not the right way to look at it. It's not as though you should just focus on your Jagrata Avastha and ignore the Swapna Avastha. That is just the beginning. But at the end, what you should conclude, in fact, it's really interesting, it's just the other way around. Our initial thinking is that the Jagrata Avastha is the significant one, and the Swapna Avastha is insignificant. Isn't it? That's how we all operate, this is how we are born, and so on. Which is, there's nothing, there's no surprises there. This is the way it's supposed to be. But the spiritual progress that one makes is in the form of an understanding, believe it or not, that the Swapnavastha is the more significant one. And the Jagrata Avastha, the way we look at it, is insignificant. How can we say that? This is an outlandish statement. How can you say things like that? The Swapnavastha is significant and Jagrata Avastha is insignificant. We can say that because, excuse me, the lessons learned from the Swapnavastha are the ones that would really help us in our lives. Not the lessons learned in the Jagrata Avastha. How do you mean by that? What he means by that is that we have to look at the Jagrata Avastha also as a Swapna Avastha, in the sense that it is very transitory. We think it is not. We think our families are very important, our born at a certain time, work is very important, everything is, politics, this is the reality. When in fact it is a real distraction. What we should really think about it is that just like Swapnavastha comes and goes and has no lasting impression on the Jagrata Avastha, as a waker, doesn't leave anything at all. But you feel that that was just a dream, it of course is not supposed to leave anything. No. When you are dreaming, you should, this is an important thing for you to keep in mind, that when you are dreaming, it looks just like Jagrata Avastha. At that time, you don't say this is a dream. Absolutely not. And yet, when that state is gone, at the Turiya, everything is gone, has no lasting impression on you, it just becomes insignificant. In the same way, we have to learn the lessons of the Jagrata Avastha while we are awake. And there is no third state where you will say, yes, the Jagrata Avastha was just like a dream, or why did I waste so much time, why did I worry about my life? That's not going to happen. So what is going to happen is that you have to see that the Jagrata Avastha is exactly like Swapna Avastha, and then when this becomes very clear, then you will enjoy the Jagrata Avastha as a dream. You will enjoy the insignificance of all the things that are happening to you. And so this is what Jivan Mukti is all about. That's very possible. So this is something that we have to really see, that, and this is where the Mandukya has such power to explain, and such an important one. As I was telling you, this is the one where all the thinkers, all the jnanis finally come to. This is the final one. It's also difficult because it is not easy to grasp. Not grasp means it's easy to grasp, but our mind doesn't say that. Well, what are you talking about? So this has to be kept in mind. That really speaking, the goal of our life should be to see that the Jagrata Avastha is just as a Swapna Avastha. There is really there's some small differences. One lasts for a longer time and so on. But those are minor compared to the essence of it, which is, it is very insignificant as far as I am concerned. I have a reality which is much more significant than all these vyavahara and samsara that I'm going to go through. So this is what the objective of this prakarana, Vaithatya prakarana, is. So in doing so, the last class, which was on the 22nd of June, long time ago, 3 weeks ago, we had done these three verses, 21, 22, and 23. And these verses are to articulate what people believe in, different things that people believe in, different things that people have shraddha on. And so what I'm going to do, and of course this lends itself into a fair amount of examination of the veracity of each one of these ones. So this is still just a combination or a summary of the various schools of thoughts that people have. And you can actually go into a lot of details on each one of them, but in this class, this is not the appropriate time to get into all the details of it. Once a week class, this is a slightly different way. If you're completely retired and you're doing nothing but 3 or 4 classes a day, then you can afford to do so. So here it is not necessary. So what we will do is, I'm going to speed up the evaluation of these various schools of thought and come up with some general conclusions about them, which I will do today. So I was reading all of this the last couple of days, and I thought this is how we would proceed. And there's nothing wrong with this, because I remember Swami Dayanandji also saying that teaching and learning is a little bit like the flow of a river. And the flow of a river is not constant. It speeds up at times, and other times it forms some kind of a slow lake, and where you dwell on. Then you keep on going further. So we are going to do the same thing. Our gears are going to change. So let's do this. What I'm going to do is, what we did last time was examine 21, 22, and 23 at some detail. And what I'm going to do today is to simply read 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, up to 29. I think is what we will do. Okay. So let us at least chant number 25 through 29, and then I will explain a summary explanation of these, and then combine them into what does it mean for us conceptually. This is how we will do it. So to make sure that that is done well, in fact, let's start with number 22 so that we have some continuity from last time. Okay, so let's chant number 22 to 29. Veda iti veda vidaha, yajna iti cha tad vidaha, bhokte iti cha bhoktra vidaha, bhojyam iti cha tad vidaha, sukshma iti sukshma vidaha, sthula iti cha tat vidaha, murta iti murta vidaha, amurta iti cha tad vidaha, kala iti kala vidaha, disha iti cha tad vidaha, vada iti vada vidaha, bhuvanani iti tad vidaha, manaha iti mano vidaha, buddhi iti cha tad vidaha, chittam iti chitta vidaha, dharma dharma ucha tad vidaha, panchavimshaka ityeke, षड्विंश इति चापरे, एकत्रिंशक इत्याहुः, अनंत इति चापरे, लोकान् लोकविदः, I think it should go with Lokan Loka Vidaha Prahuhu. Lokan Loka Vidaha Prahuhu. Ashrama iti tad vidaha. Stri punna pumsakalaingaha. Stri punna pumsakalaingaha. Para paramathara pare. Shrishti iti srishti vidaha. Laya iti tad vidaha. Sthiti iti sthiti vidaha. Sarve chehatu sarvada. Yam bhavam darshayati yasya. Tam bhavam satupashyati. Tam chavati sabhutvasau. Tadgraha samupaiti tam. Okay. So I'm also going to give a quick English translation of them, and then we will summarize them all. So number 22, what we said was Veda iti Veda Vidaha, etc. So the knowers of the Vedas consider the Vedas to be the reality, and the knowers of Yajnas consider the Yajnas to be the reality. The knowers of the enjoyer, Bhoktra, consider the enjoyer to be the reality, and the knowers of the object of enjoyment consider the object of enjoyment to be the reality. So this we had done last time. Then Sukshma iti Sukshma Vidaha, number 23. The knowers of the subtle consider reality to be subtle, and knowers of the gross consider the reality to be gross. The knowers of deities with forms consider the deity to be the reality, and the knowers of the formless consider the reality to be formless. The knowers of time consider the time to be reality, and the knowers of directions consider the directions to be the reality. The knowers of theories consider the theories to be reality, and the knowers of the worlds consider the worlds to be reality. The knowers of the mind consider the mind to be the reality, and the knowers of the intellect consider the intellect to be the reality. The knowers of chittam, memory, consider the chittam to be reality, and knowers of dharma and adharma consider dharma and adharma to be the reality. Some say that the reality consists of 25 categories. Others say that it consists of 26 categories. Others say that it consists of 31. And yet others say that it consists of countless categories. The knowers of the people declare the pleasures of people to be the reality. The knowers of the stages of life consider the stages to be reality. The knowers of genders consider the masculine, feminine, and neuter words to be the reality. And others consider the higher and the lower Brahman to be the reality. The knowers of creation consider the creation to be the reality, and the knowers of dissolution consider the dissolution to be the reality. The knowers of sustenance consider the sustenance to be the reality. All these are ever projected on this Atma. One thing as the reality, which thing a teacher shows him. One sees that thing as the reality, which thing a teacher shows him. Having become one with him, it protects him. Firm conviction in that possesses him. So this is just a rough translation. This is one thing, this last verse. I'll begin with a very quick analysis of that, of the word Shastra. You think you already know, you probably know this, but just to be sure. Well, anyway, we'll turn it on later. So Shastra, the word Shastra we use, Shastra. So you should know the etymology of the word Shastra. Shasanat trayate iti. Shastra. Shasanat trayate iti. Shasanat means by the teaching of, through the teaching, through the communication. Trayate means it protects you. This is what is called Shastra. Shasanat trayate yaha. It means that, and this is what number 29 also was saying, and we'll explain that phenomena in a minute. So, what it means is, Shastra means that the words that protect you from problems. It is just like a very loved one, mother or a father or a friend, which says, please don't go there. That's not for you. And please believe me, I'm just telling you from the experience that this is something you should avoid. Don't go there, or don't do that, or something like that. And through those words, it forewarns you where the source of problem is and how do we protect ourselves from it. This is the meaning of the word Shastra. And the Shastra is a pure teaching whose only objective is to do good to you. There is no other agenda. There's nothing to say that I want this from you. This is why in the Hindu, in the Vedic teaching, there is no proselytization. There is no conversion. There is no force of any kind. Because Swami Dhananand used to say this, I think we've seen this before. He said, have you ever seen someone knock on your door? And so you say, yes, what do you want? And the person says, I'm a physics professor from Stanford. And I just thought you might be interested in physics. Does that ever happen? Can it ever happen? No. Because physics is something which is there. If you are interested and you are capable of understanding, you will go to Stanford. Stanford doesn't have to come to you. And yet we find people, just the other day, we were having some problems with our gate. And so I had a person come in to look into the problems of the gate. And the gate was open and I was standing there. And so I saw these two ladies walk up to the street. Slowly they came up. There were people who are just walking on the street and it's fine. But they came all the way up to the driveway of the home and well-dressed and so on. So I said, who are they? What is happening here? Because either way you can come in a car or something, but they were walking. So she said, I said, yes, can I help you? And she says, we are from Jehovah's Witness. And we wanted to talk to you. So the Jehovah's Witness will talk to you. Is a difference between a Stanford professor talking about physics or chemistry and Jehovah's Witness or Mormons or one of these people. What is the difference? So Swamiji said, here's the thing. When you are not sure of it yourself, you want more company. This is why people generally do not drink alone, because they want other people to be also drinking, and they feel very uncomfortable. So supposing you go to somebody's place and he says, what would you like to drink? He says, oh, just some soda or something. No scotch? No scotch. No, please, you can have it. I've got a very nice one, and so on and so forth. So you give up on that person. Then you go to the next person. How about you? Can you like to have, you know what the reason is? Because he wants to have scotch. And he feels very uncomfortable that everybody else is having soda, and I'm the only one that is having scotch. So Swamiji says this is exactly what happens. If Jehovah's Witness was secure in their knowledge, then why convert anybody else? What's the reason for it? Well, the thing is that you feel that the more, this is the essence of conversion in that sense. But the truth doesn't need any conversion. It is, and so really trayate, shasana trayate means that it just protects you as a mother does. Please don't do that. There's no other agenda, there's no conversion, no nothing at all. This is the meaning of the Shastra. So now let us go back to the meaning of these verses. That Veda iti Veda Vidaha, etc. So here, Gaudapadacharya ji, what he's doing, he is reviewing what generally people believe in. What are they passionate about? And so, for example, we saw the Vedas or yajnas and rituals, or Buddhists who feel that it should be all just be thought about, and all kinds of in between, everything. And so all these are being sketched out here. And Kala iti Kala Vidaha, number 24. So here, and if you're interested, there is a lot of commentary on each one of them. So for instance, let's look at Kala iti Kala Vidaha. So there it says that people who believe in Muhurta, this is the right time. So your life really depends upon doing things at the right time. And here Swami Maheshananji is so funny. He says, do you know that in the Vidya of the Kala Vidya, when to eat and when to go to the bathroom is all specified. You cannot relieve yourself at some random time. Can you believe this? They are so committed to it that everything has to be done. Why? Because Kalaha iti, that the time, the Ishvara's creation of time, and the significance of observing clearly the time is a very important. Another one, interesting. When you die is very important. So, to them. So, for example, if you die at the wrong time, you're going to have a very difficult future. Now, what to do? What to do? I mean, I cannot choose and say, okay, now, oof. Can't do that. So there are karmas that have to be done for a departed soul that died at the wrong time. Anyway, all of this is to show their commitment that Kala is the most important one. Then Disha he teaches Tadvida. And I won't go into the details. There is some very interesting commentary by Swami Maheshananji on each one of them. And I won't go into the details of it. But anyway, all of these, I just wanted to give you an example. So here is and so then you can say Vada iti tadvidaha bhuvanani, the various experiences after you leave, the Swarga Loka and Naraka Loka and all of that, bhuvanani iti tadvidaha, dharma tadvidaha, all of this. So there the conclusion is that what people do is according to their Shraddha. Shraddha means that you develop a certain belief that actually helps you. That helps you. Swami Maheshananji said that I have seen, and this is very common, it is not seen in this country, but seen in India, where people will say, I have discovered a murti on the road. And that murti, if you pray on, your life becomes much better. And Swamiji says that they will have some kind of a stone, which is nice shape and so on, so they start doing puja to it. Swamiji says, do you know something? It works. It works. They see that if I do puja to this stone and I observe my life, their life really gets better. Things go better with them. Okay, so this is the phenomena. Now, the phenomena is, what gives you result is not the stone, but your Shraddha. This is the important lesson that we have to learn. So Shraddha means that you formulate your thoughts and your objectives and your life in such a way that it seems solid. Because if you don't have Shraddha in something, you are just moving around not knowing what to do. But if you develop a Shraddha in anything, I mean, we're not talking about Jivan Mukti here, but we're talking about a life that gets better. As long as that happens, it really doesn't matter. It all depends on Shraddha. And you can do it anything you like. Shraddha could be on Shiva. It could be on, this is why it happens, people go to the various Tirtha Sthanams. So, do you find this is where we need to go? And in fact, even in many of the temples and so on, there is a Shraddha towards the fact that my Vigraha is better than that Vigraha. Okay, and this gives more. This Dakshinamurti is more one, and this is the Shraddha. Fine. And if you believe that, then, all the power to you. That's wonderful. So the result of all this is talking about is number 29. In 29, so that is the summary of these verses. So he says, Yam bhavam darshayet yasya tam bhavam satu pashyati tam cha avati sabhutva asau tadgraha samupaititam. So we can say sahatu pashyati. One sees tam bhavam, that reality. Yam bhavam, which one? Darshayet. Someone shows, someone leads, someone takes the leadership and says, please do this. Yasya bhutva, having become one with that vision, it protects you. Avati. Sacha avati. Tam tagraha samupaititam. And so this is the process by which people's lives get better, no matter what you believe in. What you believe in. Okay? So now, so look at the phenomena. The phenomena is that if you don't have Shraddha, if you don't have your mental capacity to focus in on something, then your life is going to be somewhat chaotic, uncertain. If you develop a Shraddha, and we all want to develop Shraddha in various things, then the Shraddha itself protects you. This is a phenomenon. Now we come to the third part of that. The question is, what is it that you have Shraddha in? What is shown to you? So in this case, for example, if you look at Mormonism or anything, or any religious practice and so on, if you follow that, your life gets better, no doubt about it, because you have a certain discipline, others also help you and so on. You have a better life, no question about it. But the question is, what is it that someone shows you? There the differences come in. And normally, you can divide this into various parts. One of them is things that improve your life in this life. A very good example of that is exercising or yoga. Exercising. So nowadays you find that there are very good teachers available to show you how to tone up your body, how to become more peaceful through yoga, and so on. So this is one part of the teaching. I'm just now saying, you see what I'm progressing in at? So one is no Shraddha. Then you have Shraddha. So these are all the various types of Shraddhas that people have. Kala iti talkal vidaha, etc. Veda iti tat vidaha, etc. So when you have Shraddha, your life improves. No question about it. Then the question is, Shraddha towards what? So the Shraddha towards what can be divided into three segments. One segment is one which improves your life today. And so this is like exercising, working out, or perhaps fiscal discipline, how to invest better. All those kinds of things. We have so many advices. And you have Shraddha towards it, your life gets better to that extent. If you are good at, you work out and so on and so forth, you do yoga, your life improves, you become more peaceful, etc., etc. All of this is there. So this is one segment. The second segment is your improvement not in this life but in the next life. And so there's a lot. In fact, this is the predominant appeal of the proselytizing religions, which says the following. The person comes up. This is an imaginary dialogue. It's, are you miserable? Say, yes, I am miserable. Let me interrupt it by giving you the Swamiji's joke at one time. So this one, so there was a guy who said, you need to go to this this person that reads your hand, and he is so wonderful. He tells you all about your future and so on, right? So first he was very skeptical. He had no shraddha. Then he says, no, I'm telling you, it works. You got to go to him. So he says, okay, I'll go. I'll try. So he goes to him, and so he says, he reads his hand. He says, you are about close to 40 years old, I can see, and so on. So it's not a big thing. So he says, yeah. He says, your life has been very miserable. He says, wow. How did he know that? He says, you have multiple problems. You have health problems. Your wife is about to divorce you, this, that, or the other. Lots of problems, don't you? He says, yes. Yes, absolutely. He says, yep. Okay. So he says, okay, so what's next for me? More important is, he says, well, you will be a lot happier from now on. He says, really? Honestly? You're telling me this? He says, yes, absolutely. He says, why? He says, the fact is that all those problems will continue, but you'll get used to them. He said, oh my God. So the proselytizing people all say, you're miserable, aren't you? He says, yes. And do you want to get better in your next life? He says, yeah, I do. I really do. Okay, then we have a panacea. You believe in this one thing, and they will transfer you. Believe in Christ or Muhammad or something like that, and you'll be okay. So the second type of teacher is not interested in this life, but in the next life. This is the second one. Now, both of them have limitations. The second one, obviously the limitation is that this is what is called non-verifiable truth. Non-verifiable. Like, for example, if supposing you go on a cruise, and then somebody says, you have to take this cruise. These are the best cruise lines there is. And you pay a lot of money and you go on that cruise. You can come back and say, yes, that indeed was very good. Excellent, now I can recommend it to the others. But how are you going to come back from the next life and say, yes, they were right. This is a better life. Can you do that? So it's pure belief without any verifiability. So this is the problem with the second type. The first type, where you are doing exercising and yoga or economic discipline or whatever, has the following problem. It only solves a little part of your life. if you become an exercise nut, it's very possible that your body may improve. But you may still get a divorce. Has nothing to do with your emotional life. Or if you concentrate on one thing, that improves just that part of it. Nothing really improves. So this is the essence of these verses and the analysis of those verses. If you look at why are they being given by Gaudapada, it is because, say, you please examine all the options that you have in your life, and they have defects. They have defects. Either you have a defect of limitations, unpredictability, or you have limitations of just an empty promise with no verifiability. So the third type of Shraddha is one which is based on reality, not the observance of certain things that look like reality. So this is all that look like reality, right? This is what it's been saying. The knowers of prana consider prana to be the reality. This is it. This is what we have to do, like that. So the observance of reality is one thing, but the reality is something else. So the third type of Shraddha, which should have none of the defects of the first two types. So what are the defects of the first two types? Non-verifiability. It shouldn't have that. And also the second defect, which is limited utility. Because our life is too complex. We've got so many issues. We've got physical issues, mental issues, emotional issues, knowledge issues, etc. And none of these really addresses everything. That's the second defect. So the Shraddha towards reality, which, by the way, the interesting thing is that all three types, Shraddha towards this life, which is limited, Shraddha towards next life, which is unverifiable, and Shraddha towards this life, which is verifiable, all three of them require Shraddha. This is the essence of these verses. All three of them are similar in that sense. The third one leads to reality. The first two do not. But the third one, even though when you are saying it leads to reality, means that it reveals the reality which already is. It doesn't take you to a new place. It seems like a new place, but something that you had missed altogether. We are not going to become free. We'll understand that, oh my God, I was already free, but I didn't see it. In all of the utterances of the Mahapurushas, the Mahatmas, they all say the same thing, that it's not as though when you figure the whole thing out, you feel so proud. See? You guys have not figured it out, but I've figured it out. I am a great person. See how wonderful I am? That thought doesn't appear. Instead, the thought is, oh my God, why did I waste my time so much? I really, I'm just fortunate that I stumbled onto this. There is a certain humility, not a sense of pride. So so the reality is not something which comes as a new experience, but an experience which is unmitigated, which is not mixed up with problems. And so it's a freedom which is already there. You have been free all along, but you just didn't know it. You think you were born when you really never were. It has nothing to do with this body and mind and so on and so forth. So this is a reality which also requires Shraddha, by the way. So the Shraddha between all the three types of teachings is the same. But one which points out that once you understand your reality, who you are, na antah pragyam, na bahish pragyam, na ubhayatah pragyam, na pragyam, na all of that, turiya, is one that does not have the defect of the first two. It is not limited and it is verifiable right here and now. So this is the essence of these verses, really speaking. And so I thought that we have done enough in terms of examining through, which started at so if you want to look at it, it's interesting. See, if you look at the trend of these verses, what it started with number 18. And so the 18 was saying that when a reality is not taken to be as it is, you have lots of different thoughts that come up. Remember, we did all of this. And so, for example, when the rope is not known as rope, you have all kinds of false things, that this is perhaps a mala, or this is a snake. And so the snake is used as an example because something which is harmless appears as harmful. You can have other mistakes also. So, but for example, supposing you take a hose and you take the hose to be some kind of a watermark. That doesn't do anything for you. So for example, you had a hose, and then because when I walk around in my backyard in the evening, there is a hose, and then there's some water. I also water the garden, and so there are some watermarks. So if I mistake the hose to be a watermark, there's no problem. But why the snake is brought in is because, and I have seen snakes in my backyard, as I was explaining it to you. So I'm now careful. Is this a snake or is this just a hose? If I take it to be a snake when it is not, that is an unnecessary problem. Similarly, when we see the world around us, in fact, it is harmless. It really should not bother you. It has no ability to really grab, but it bothers you. It has problems. It seems to create problems. And when I see the world, I also mean your own body and mind included in that. So therefore, I see it as a source of problems. So this is why the snake example is given. And the reason for that is that I am making a mistake. I am not the body, mind, ahamkara. I am something totally different from that. But that result of the mistake gives me a completely distorted view of the life. So that being the case, the trend of these verses is that, listen, if you look at the English translation of number 18, when the rope is clearly known as this rope only, then the misperception goes away and the non-dual Atma comes up. However, the next one, number 19, the Atma is mistaken for the following countless things like prana, etc. This is the Maya of the Atma through which Atma itself is deluded. Not knowing this, but you want to have Shraddha on something. So you have Shraddha in wrong things, limited things, etc., as we have seen before. So there then the list of things that you normally have Shraddha in is being given. Prana, Padas, Vedas, Sukshma, subtle things, or gross things. So gross things means that, in fact, the majority of the people in the world believe in gross things. They just enjoy, and there is nothing else there is to it. And so you just have to make sure that you eat well, you have good experiences, music, etc., etc. That's all that really matters. So these are the gross things. Manaha, buddhihi, chittamiti, dharma, adharma, all of this. Then in the end, this summary is that, listen, please see the constituents of your looking at the reality of yourself. Look at the constituents. The constituents are, yes, Shraddha in anything is essential. Because otherwise your mind goes haywire. And this is why, it's interesting. They say, it's very accurately saying, that the teenage is a kind of a very uncertain time in the life of a person. Very uncertain time. Why? Because what happens is that when you are below teen, you're 11 or 10, 11 or less, you have no sense of identity. Who am I? What am I supposed to do? You're just busy with talking and playing and learning and so on and so forth. Teenage is when the ahankara starts to come up and you have a doubt about who am I? And who am I not in the sense of the reality of yourself, but what will I be? What will I have Shraddha in? Am I a friendly person? Or am I a person who's a leader? I'm a sports person? Am I studious? So those kinds of doubts occur, which define the personality of the person. And there's a lot of struggle going on. There's a lot of influence from parents and friends and so on and so forth. But these are formative years where Shraddha is not there yet. Then, after a while, you go into a life where, for better or for worse, you develop a Shraddha in something. This is what I want to be. I want to be a scientist, I want to be this, that, or the other. This is all because of Shraddha. So that Shraddha is important. Then it says, what Shraddha towards what? And for most people, you just glom on to something that others also are doing. No one has taught you anything better. Shastra is not available or poorly understood. But finally, Shastra means Shasanat Trayate iti. That gives you the effect of which has no limitations of the other two methods. It is a complete freedom in this life, verifiable. So this is what the Atma Jnanam does. So anyway, I wanted to kind of go through a slightly different way of dealing with these verses than simply going into each one of them. And so I might continue to do this, and I think that we will probably finish this very shortly, the Vaithatya Prakaranam. And then I think before we begin the next Prakaranam, we will take a couple of classes to go over verse number 6 that we did today. Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Antaryami. And with the help of the we might even, I'll give you some verses from the 6th chapter of Panchadashi, and we'll go over that. It's a very beautiful one. Then we'll go over to the next prakara. So that's kind of like the plan. Om Swasti Prajabhyav Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Godhamanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Durgabhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about on verse 27, the last line? It says para aparam atha apare.
Yeah. So this one, I would think, first of all, two things. One is that the trend of the various categories that Gaudapadaji is doing is trending towards the Atma. Okay, so you're getting closer and closer and closer. So in that sense, an examination of Parabrahma and Aparabrahma is also in that sense a trend. But here, what I would, this is the way I would interpret it, is that you have an academic view of what Brahman is, where it is, how it is Parabrahma, how it is Aparabrahma. So, for example, in the think it is in Mandukya Upanishad. In Mandukya Upanishad, it is para and apara vidya, right? Isn't it? Para vidya and apara vidya. So it is something in that sense. So there in the discussion, the study of the Vedas is considered to be apara vidya. So there is a lot of discussion. How can you say that? Because Vedas is where it is, so where the knowledge is. So how can you say that the Vedas is apara vidya? That should be paravidya. So there the discussion goes that people consider the study of Vedas as academic, as opposed to something which you can see, this is my reality, this is who I am. And so so here the treatment of para and apara, this is my view. I have to look at, maybe I'll study Swamiji's commentary on this, but my view is that this is still not the final one, where you have some anubhuti. This is me. And so in that sense, it is still not quite what needs to be done. It becomes a more academic view of what paravidya and aparavidya is. That would be kind of what my thinking is. Yeah.
So along the same lines, is that what you had said earlier was higher and lower Brahman? Would that be along the same lines?
So of course the higher, from that standpoint, the higher and lower refers to Saguna and Nirguna.
Okay.
Yeah. So the lower Brahman is Saguna Brahma, which is the personality, and higher Brahma is the Nirguna Brahma, which is the person behind the personality. Yeah. So you can look at it from that standpoint. But here in the discussion, as Shrida was asking, why is that included to be? See, his question is that if you are including it as a list of things which is not the reality, then how come the looking at para and apara Brahma, this is the heart of his question. So there I was saying that what appears to me is that just like in the Mandukya Upanishad, where you para and apara vidya also, it becomes kind of like a stepping stone, but still separate from what your own feeling is. And so on. Yeah.
So is Atma the higher Brahman and Anatma the lower Brahman also?
So there, in that sense, yes, you can say that. Ultimately, I think this is what I got a great deal from Swami Paramarthananda. It was a very good analysis. He has actually replaced the word Brahman with I. So, for example, when he talks about Nididhyasanam, in fact, this is what Ashtavakra, the sage, is also teaching Janaka. And Swami Paramarthananda pointed this out, that the entire Ashtavakra, the word Brahman is not used. The Brahman means I and you is used. Okay? So the sense of that is that the Atma and the lower Atma and the lower Brahman and the higher Brahman should be seen as me. So my personality is the lower Atma, Jivatma, and my person is the higher Atma, the person that I am. So the actor is the Atma, the role is the personality. So there you take away from Brahman as some nebulous thing to yourself. This is how we have to look at. So yeah, in that manner, this is the way it should be. Yeah.
So I have some different version of this by Pranavdip, and as per that translation, par is a Karan and apar is a Karya Brahma. I don't
So-
know.
So I think you could even do it that way. That is not a wrong way to look at it. So Karya is the apara, and Karana would be para. Karana is the superior. So in that sense, you can say that gold is the Karana and the ornamentation is the Karya. So there you can say that if you're simply looking at, supposing you have a young girl who's getting married and she wants to have some ornaments, her drishti is not towards the value of the gold, it is just towards the form of the ornament. So that is an apara view. But a para view is that what is the quality of the gold? And so the Karana Karya can be taken as that way also, yes. Yeah. All right, good, thank you. Let's see you next week.